What's going on, guys? Let me start this video with a question. Are you a huge sports fan and do you like going to sports games? Well, today you're in luck because I have a promo code for SeatGeek, which is a ticket sharing app that rates each ticket deal you might come across on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being the worst and 10 being the best. Scores more towards 0 show up in red, while scores more towards 10 show up in green. My promo code to get $20 off on SeatGeek is OberSports. You use that code, you get $20 off on any single purchase you want on SeatGeek. With that being said, let's get to the video. What is going on, you guys? Jacob Ober here. Welcome to my official 2019 Green Bay Packers schedule prediction video. I'm going to be predicting every single game in the entire 2019 Green Bay Packers season. I have not scripted this video. I have not even looked at the schedule yet. It's sitting right next to me. I have not in any way thought about what I'm going to do beforehand. I'm just going to go through each game right away and say whether I think we're going to win or lose that game. So let's get started here. I got the schedule right in my hand. Let's start with week 1, of course, the Chicago Bears, the NFL opener, prime time, Thursday night. It's going to be pretty exciting. We are playing in Chicago at Soldier Field. I'm just going to say right now, I think the Packers are going to lose this football game. And I'm not going to elaborate too much on why, but I will say this. The Packers are a team that has a lot of new coming in this year, a team that hasn't played a regular season game together before, and the Bears, obviously they lost a little bit last offseason with Vic Fangio leaving, but the Bears right now, I think the Bears having the game at home, of course, is going to help them a lot. And, you know, the confidence, the motivation. Oh, it's our biggest rival. We got them at home. You know, I mean, I'm not saying the Packers aren't going to be motivated either, but I think the Bears are going to take week 1. It's going to be at home. It's the NFL opener. They won the division last year. Right now, at least right now, I'd say they're the more... I'd say they would be the more confident team coming in, but of course you never know. The Packers could very well go and blow them out. You never know, but I'm going to go with the Bears winning week 1. That drops the Packers to 0-1 to start the season. Week 2, we have the Minnesota Vikings at home. The Packers are going to win that football game. The Vikings, to me, are a very mediocre team. They're not bad. They're not good. They have a very mediocre quarterback, Kirk Cousins, who is not bad nor good. The Packers at home, historically, have always been very, very good against the Minnesota Vikings, so the logical choice here would be to pick the Green Bay Packers to beat the Minnesota Vikings at home in Week 2. Moving on to Week 3, we have the Denver Broncos. I am pretty certain the Broncos are in a rebuilding phase right now. This game is at home, by the way, at Lambeau. I'm not really even certain who the Broncos quarterback is going to be this year. I think they traded for Joe Flacco, that's right, so it might be Joe Flacco, but I'm not really seeing any advantages in this game for the Broncos. I'm trying to think of any. It's one of those games, you know, like the other team just has every advantage. They're at home too. The Packers are probably going to win that game. They go to 2-1 on the season. Then they have a third straight home game, Week 4, against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, Carson Wentz, I would expect them to have a big bounce back year last year, of course, or this year, I should say. Of course, last year they did beat the Chicago Bears in the playoffs. They lost to the Saints in the playoffs. They were a very, very good team last year. They underachieved a little bit for being defending Super Bowl champions, but of course they did lose Carson Wentz for the playoffs. I will say, I think the Eagles are actually going to win this football game. It is at home for the Packers, but I think the Eagles are a better team than the Packers, at least from what we know right now. So I'm going to go with the Eagles winning that game. And of course, the NFL season is a crapshoot. We don't know exactly who's going to win every game. The worst team could win, the better team could win, etc., etc. But I'm going to say the Packers lose Week 4. They're going to go back on the road Week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry World, Aaron Rodgers, come on, it's a victory for the Packers. You know that, of course. Moving the Packers to 3-2. Packers, like I said before, with the historically good. They are historically very, very good against the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium, and I actually do not believe they've even lost a game at AT&T Stadium since it was built back in 2000. I think it was 2009, and they played their Super Bowl in there. The Rodgers' only Super Bowl victory was against the Steelers in AT&T Stadium. So that moves the Packers to 3-2. Week 6, they have the Detroit Lions at home. The Packers have actually lost 4 straight games to the Detroit Lions. Only one of those Aaron Rodgers played the majority of the game, and that was the game where the Packers missed, like 4 or 5 field goals, I believe. They only lost by 7 in the end, but I'm going to say that 4-game winning streak for the Lions comes to an end. It's a Monday Night Football game at Lambeau. Packers are going to beat the Lions in Week 6, moving the record to 4-2. Then they have the Oakland Raiders, Week 7, noon game at home. I think they're going to win that one as well. Raiders are kind of a team, it's uncertain, but I think more people than not are leaning towards they're not going to have a very good year. So I'm going to say the Packers win that. They move the record to 5-2. Then you get to a little bit of a gauntlet in the schedule here. Week 8 at Kansas City, Sunday Night Football. I think the Packers lose that football game. Of course, it's in Kansas City, one of the toughest environments in football to play in, and it's a night game, prime time. No doubt, I think it'll be a really good game, but I do not really see the Packers going into Kansas City and winning, so I'm going to say the Packers lose. The record falls to 5-3. The next week, the Chargers on the road, 3:25 game on CBS. I'm going to say the Packers win this one, and the reason why is because Los Angeles is known for having a very fair weather football fan base, and also it just feels like the Packers are going to win a game that a lot of people might not pick them to win. I already picked against the Packers earlier with the Eagles in a game that I think a lot of people might have predicted them to win. I'm going to pick against them, or I'm going to pick for them, I should say, against the Chargers, moving the record to 6-3 in Week 9. Then we have the Carolina Panthers at home. This is a tough one. I think the Panthers and the Packers are actually pretty close to even. It's going to be at home, so the Packers have the advantage there, but I don't know. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to beat the Panthers. Then they have their bye week. Then they play on the road against San Francisco, another 3:25 game. Do they win that one? I feel like they're going to lose another game like on the road that a lot of people don't expect them to lose to. I think they beat San Francisco, but the next week, December 1st against the Giants, Week 13, I think they lose that one. So what would that put the record at? 7-4, right? Because let's see, lose, win. 8-4. 8-4 is their record at this point. Then the Packers come home for their final 2 home games against the Washington Redskins. Washington going through a rebuild phase as well. Packers are going to win that one at home. That moves their record to 9-4. Then they have the Chicago Bears at home, and much in the way that the first game of the season was decided by me mainly on who had the home field advantage. I think this one is going to be decided by that as well. I think the Packers beat the Bears at home again at Lambeau, moving their record to now 10-4 on the season. Then they have 2 straight road games to end the season. One's at Minnesota, one's at Detroit. I think they beat Minnesota. A lot of people, this would be a typical game for them to pick the Packers to lose because it's at Minnesota and the Packers have not historically been good there. But I just have a feeling that streak's going to come to an end this year. I feel like the Packers are going to beat the Vikings. I really feel like they're going to beat the Vikings on the road this year. I think they're going to beat them in the whatever their new stadium is called, US Bank or whatever, I don't know. But historically, the Packers haven't been a great team there. They haven't won in Minnesota since, I believe, 2015. And they haven't ever beat them in their new stadium. But I think that ends this year. I think they're going to win. This is also a primetime game, so it's going to be really interesting. I think it's a Monday Night Football game as well, so I think the Packers win this one. This is also 2 days before Christmas, so maybe we can get a Christmas miracle with that one. But Week 17, the Packers come in at 11-4 against Detroit. I don't know. I want to say they win, but I don't know if I see them winning 2 straight on the road against division rivals. We'll say they lose to the Lions. I think they lose to the Lions. The Lions are always difficult. And at this point, they could also have, everything locked up. They could have, like the 2 seed guaranteed or the 3 seed guaranteed or something like that. They might not even be playing for anything. Of course, at this point, I don't really expect the Lions to be playing for anything either, so this could be like a battle of the backups game, in which case I might have to go with the Lions backups over the Packers backups. But I'm going to say the Lions win that game. So the Packers finished the season at a record of 11-5, and that's probably a little more positive than most fans. I mean, I went through all of them. I gave you some pretty decent reasons as to why I think they're going to win or lose. The ones that I picked in here that might be a little surprising for people. The Eagles won at home. A lot of people probably aren't going to really pick us to lose at home to really anybody. I mean, we have a very favorable home schedule this year. Lions, Raiders, Redskins, Bears, Broncos. You know, I mean, there's not a really whole lot of great teams we play at home, but I think that's going to be the one game we lose at home this year. And then winning on the road against the Chargers. A lot of people probably aren't going to have us winning on the road against the Chargers like that, but, you know, there's always a game that you just don't expect the Packers to win, especially when they've been good, and I think that's going to be one of those games. And then losing on the road to the Giants, though, the Giants and the Packers, you know, there's a little bit of history there, and, I mean, I could see that. Whenever you go on a 2-game road streak like that, I just feel like you're going to lose one of them. And I think they're going to beat San Francisco. But with the Giants, you know, you never know. I mean, Eli Manning can always have a really good game. Saquon Barkley is obviously a great talent, you know, so you just never know. And I would pick the Giants one to be the loss if the Packers are, in fact, going to lose one of those games. But and then, of course, the Lions, like I said, that might be backups, and the Packers might not have anything to play for. You never know. But I'm going to say they go 11-5, and I'm going to say they win the division. I do think they're going to win the division. With the revamping of the talent on the team and the new coaching. Last year, I thought the coaching was the main problem with the team. The Packers, I think, have fixed that. Now, obviously, we don't know that for sure, but I am liking a lot of what I'm hearing from this new coaching staff. So I think the Packers are going to win the North. They're going to have one of the best coaches, one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best defenses in the NFC, I believe, and that's all going to set themselves up nicely to make a playoff run this year. I still do not know how deep they're going to make it in the playoffs, but I think making the playoffs is a win for the Packers at the very least. I really think making the playoffs this year is like something to say, hey, the Packers are still here, guys. Don't forget about us anytime soon. So, anyways, guys, those are my predictions for the 2019 Green Bay Packers season. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. What do you think the Packers' record is going to be? Do you think they'll win the NFC North? Do you think they might even make a Super Bowl run? Leave your comment in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter at Obersports41512 and on Instagram, username Jacob_Ober, all lowercase. And don't forget to use code Obersports on SeatGeek to get $20 off of any ticket purchase that you make. One-time offer only. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Packers.